She says people can't travel through time because they'll die. So they built dolls to do it, like Mimzy.
I wish that it will turn out that we can manipulate space and time and be able to travel to the past. That would be a truly wonderful thing to accomplish. A little dangerous perhaps, but truly wonderful. The people who've thought about time travel have, in some sense, developed wormholes as the most likely contender for a means of realizing time travel, if it's possible at all. So first off, what is a wormhole? A wormhole is a tunnel through space that allows you to go from one point in the universe to another through a shortcut, just like a tunnel through a mountain. What some very clever scientists realized is that if you have one of these tunnels in space and you move the openings relative to each other, then something spectacular may happen. The wormhole may not just be a shortcut from one point in space to another point in space. It may be a shortcut from one moment in time to another moment in time. You may be able to pass right through from the future to the past or from the past to the future. That's the basic idea. So could it be the case, some suggest, that you start in our universe, go into a black hole, go right down to the center, pass through a kind of wormhole passageway, and wind up in another universe? A totally hypothetical idea, an interesting and fascinating one. The problem is, when we study them in more detail, we realize that keeping a wormhole open is a very difficult thing to accomplish. And people have tried to invoke quantum mechanics to help stabilize a wormhole, to keep it open long enough, so for instance, something might pass through it. But the calculations seem to indicate that it's very hard to make these objects stable. They want to collapse on themselves.
Oh my gosh!
So it seems to be the case that if you had a wormhole, it wouldn't stay open long enough to make it particularly interesting. That's one of the main problems. The other thing, more seriously, to bear in mind is no one knows how you'd build a wormhole.
Octahedron, a cube, helix, hexagon, tesseract.
The mathematics shows the possibility that a wormhole might exist fully formed somewhere in the universe. But if you told me, build a wormhole right here because I want to go from this point to this point, I wouldn't know how to do it. That's something that is way beyond our technological capacity, and that also is a big stumbling block to try to realize these scenarios. If, and it's a real big if, we could show that wormholes do exist, and if, another big if, we could show that they would stay open in a way that would allow safe passage, and if, another big if, we could manipulate a wormhole and move the openings relative to one another, then we might, in fact, create something akin to a time machine.
That looks like Mimzy. How could she have Mimzy? That was 100 years ago.
Mimzy returned to her own time, as if time had stopped.
Whether those scenarios will ever come to pass, that's an interesting question that in many cases is hard to answer.
Whoa, baby! I think we found your sport.